everyone. Welcome back to Ask IITians, or should I say, welcome back to the class? Because as we have started our chapter, that is the components of food, and we are just continuing this chapter here only. So, if you remember, student, like in the last two session, what we have discussed. So we have discussed about some of the components of the food like carbohydrates, fats, proteins, minerals, vitamins, and we have seen the importance of each and every kind of the component in our food. Exactly. So we have seen that thing. Now, what we are going to do in this session is that we are covering up the other part of this chapter. That means two or three types of the components are left. So that's how we are going to cover all of these in this session only. Fine. So now let's start with our session. So these are the topic students which we are going to cover up in today's session. First, it is the roughage or dietary fiber and what are the importance of them. Then we are going to study that what is the importance of the water. Now see student, what happened now? You'll say ma'am, water can be the component of food. Exactly student, because if we see that the fruits or the vegetables which we are eating like cucumber, watermelon, so all of these fruits what they are having the more content of water, so we are getting water from them, and water is very essential for us. Exactly, that is why nowadays when there is a high usage of water, or I can say people are using water at a very large scale, so it just required that we should use water wisely. Exactly, because it is very important for us. And then we are going to discuss about balanced diet. Then how should we cook the food? You will say that ma'am, how we can cook the food because we are so small. But don't worry, we are going to see that how to cook the food in another way. Okay. Then we are going to discuss about the obesity and then some of the deficiency diseases. But if I say diseases, so we have already discussed something about deficiency diseases in the last session. If you remember that in the vitamin part, I have already told you that we are having so different, like so many types of the vitamins, and all of the vitamins have their own function, and if any of the vitamin is in the deficiency, and it will cause some kind of disease. Exactly, so that are the deficiency diseases, but we'll see them also in a very, now in, we can say, in a somewhat advanced version, I can say, but not that much, but we are going to discuss about them. Okay, so these are the topic students which we are going to cover up in today's class. So first of all, starting with the roughage, or we can say the dietary fiber. So the roughage and dietary fiber both are the same thing. It's just that you can say that these are the same name. Oh sorry, these are the different name of the same thing. Like if I say what's your name, so you'll say ma'am, my name is Akansha, just an example. And it's like you'll say, but ma'am, my nickname is this. So that's why you are having two names, na? So why the fiber should not having the two names? So that is why student in science it is also like one name. There could be the two names for one particular thing. So that is how student the fibers, which is the now the component of the food, is also having two names, roughage and the dietary fiber. Now, if we want to discuss that what is the roughage or dietary fiber. So students, these are those type, you can say these type of fibers which are not digestible. That means when you are consuming them, so they are not going to be digestible properly. So why? We'll see that thing. Okay, so just give me a minute, because before that I want to discuss something else also. As you can see that so many vegetables are present here. Exactly, and all of the vegetables are having some peel. Like you can say that all of the vegetables are having their peels. You'll say ma'am, every vegetable and fruit is having peel, and we usually take out the peels and then we can say that then we cook them. Exactly, but students, have you noticed that some of the fruits and some of the vegetables, their peels are somewhat in a kind of the thread like thing, thread like structure, you can say. So those type of thread like structure, we call them as the fibers, and that are the dietary fiber, or you can say that the roughage. Fine. So the fiber, also known as the roughage, is the indigestible part of the plant foods that travel through our digestive system, absorbing the water along the way and easing the bowel movements. Now you'll say, ma'am, that okay, you told us that what is the fiber and roughage, but how they are indigestible? Because student, what happened whenever you consume such type of food? I'll show you some example as well. So what happened that they are indigestible, so they are like what they form the cellulose in the bulk. Okay, so from here what we get cellulose in the bulk, and which help, you can say, which help in the accumulation, or the, you can say, the which help in the movement of the muscles. Fine, but how? So now I'm going to show you one video, because from that video you will be able to see the human part, that, like, you can say that the body part, from where you are getting it and how they are collecting in the form of the cellulose. Fine, so are you ready to watch that? Good. So now we'll see that video. So here is a video, students.
Roughages or dietary fibers. Dietary fibers are also known as roughage. They mainly occur in plant products. Though roughage does not provide any nutrients to our body, it provides bulk to our food. Roughage helps our body in getting rid of undigested waste.
So student, as I have told you that the roughage, what it will do, that it will you can say that it is indigestible. So what will happen? It helps us to remove the undigested part of our food from our body in any way, you can say. So that's how, student, roughage we getting from the plant part only, that is the plant product. So see how we are getting it.
Roughages in some food items. Children, have you ever observed our food items which are green in color? Take a ridge gourd and peel it with knife. You get long strands of thread-like structures. These are fibers. Similarly, take beans or pea pods, hold at the tip and pull out. You get a thin thread-like structure called as fiber.
So students, have you noticed that the type of the vegetables from which we are getting a thin or the thread-like structure, so we call them as the fiber. So that's how these are the, you can say that these are the sources of the roughage. So what happened that these fibers, when, like, for example, if we are consuming peas, or if we are consuming any such leafy vegetables which are having the thread-like structure, so what happened that these thread-like structure, which we are calling them as fibers, you can relate these fibers with your fiber chapter as well. Like if you have studied fiber to fabric, so in the fiber to fabric, what you have seen, students, like the fibers are the thin thread like structure from which you will getting the fabric. Exactly. So that's our, students, same thing is also here, that the thin thread like structure, we are calling them as the fiber, and when we consume such source of the roughage, so those fibers get collected and they are not digestible. So now watch the video.
These roughages are not digested in our intestine. They remain as undigested waste. Sources of roughages. Children, as we know the importance of roughage in our diet, we have to include sufficient amount in our food. We obtain roughage from rice bran, shredded wheat, cereals, green vegetables, potatoes, peas, sweet potatoes, apples, bananas, papaya, leafy vegetables, bean varieties, etc. We have to remember that peels of many fruits contain rich fiber. We should not remove them, but one should be very careful while eating fruits with peels.
See, students, like if you observe that thing, that the fibers which we are getting, that the thin like structure, so they are not digestible, which we call them as the roughage. But you are getting the roughage from the cereals, from the wheat, and from the fruits and vegetables also. That means, student, that the roughage, you can say that it is also an important part of our for our body, because, student, roughage help us in the bowling movement, and as well as it will help in the getting rid of the wasted part, or you can say that the undigested part part of our food. So that's why student roughage is very important for us. So it is also very important to take a proper amount of roughage in our diet. Now, as you've seen that the apple, grapes, and the guava, what happened that we usually consume them like without removing their peels. Exactly. So such fruits which are having peel, we should not directly consume that. How we should consume them? First of all, we should wash them. Like you have also heard this thing in your house that always your mother instructed you that before consuming any vegetable or any fruit, what you should have to do is you should clean them by washing them with the water any other type of way you can apply. So because student, what happened like when the fruits and the vegetables are present in the field, okay, at the time of the you can say the cropping. So what happened that at that time there are the, you can say that the farmers are using pesticides, insecticides, so there may be accumulation of those pesticides and insecticide over their coverage. So what will happen if you directly consume them? So it can make you like it can be harmful thing for you. So that is why to remove all of these things, it is very important to first of all wash them and then you have to directly consume them. Exactly, because they are having the peels, and these peels are present in the form of the thread-like structure, and these thread-like structure we are calling them as fiber. That is why we have named them as the dietary fiber or the roughage. Why we are calling them as roughage? Because they are helping us to get rid of the undigested part of our body. Okay, because students, what happened that if we the undigested part of our food remains in our body, so it can cause many problem to us. Like we can have several deficiency, well, not exactly deficiency diseases I'm talking about. So that's how the to getting rid of the undigested part, whether the liquid form or in the solid form, it will be a like they are very helpful in that thing. Okay, so now we'll see the full video.
As pesticides sprayed on fruit crops settle down on them, they are very dangerous, hence have to be washed in salt water before eating.
So now students, as you have observed that what are the dietary fibers and they are not digestible. Exactly, and then we have seen that we have to wash the fruits and vegetable before eating them or consuming them. So that's a student, what happened and the roughage collect in the form of the bulk, and that bulk is called as the cellulose, and that bulk is also responsible for removing, you can say, for we can write down getting rid of undigested food. Fine. So that's the importance of the roughage or the dietary fiber. And as you can see that these dietary fibers we are getting from different sources like cereals, fruits and vegetables. That is why the proper amount of the roughage is also important in our body. So we have to consume them according to that only. Okay, so this is the roughage or the dietary fiber, and this is the importance of dietary fibers in our body. Fine. So now moving towards Okay, so it's an important thing, students, now that what is the importance of the water in our body. Now, if I ask you that if you like you are playing somewhere and it is a very summer weather, like a summer season, and it is very hot, so after playing for some time, you feel like you should drink water. You feel thirsty. So why you feel that? Because student, what happened that while playing, all of the water level has been consumed in the form of the sweat only. That means the water level in your body at that time is less, but your body requires water for many functions. As you can see that so many functions has been written over the screen. Exactly, so that is why student, water is very important. And when you are playing, that means the sweat, and it is a summer season. Okay, and so what will happen that there will be the you can say formation of the sweat, and when the water is converting into the sweat, student, so what will happen? Definitely the level of the water is going to be decreased inside your body, and that's how student in the summer season we feel more thirsty as if we see as compared to, if we talk about, just give me a minute, students. Yeah, it's done. Actually, it was not looking nice. Now you can also see that it is not looking nice. So that's why I have done it. Okay. So what I was telling you about the importance of water. So you'll say, ma'am, yes, in summer season, so we should can't we drink water in winter season? No, it's just that what I was trying to tell you that in the case of the summer season, the need of the water is more, but it is not like that in winter season we don't need water. That the water is very important, but what happened in the summer season that most of the amount of the water of our body converts into the sweat. That's why the you can say that the thirst level or the you can say that the requirement of the water at that particular time is more. But it's not like that, student, that in winter season we don't require water, because water is important and it performs so many functions. That is why water is very important for our body, or you can say that it plays so many functions. So we are going to discuss all of these functions right now. First of all, student, that the body which we are so what happened now, you say that, ma'am, yes, all of us we are having body. So what happened that whenever we are consuming something, so what happened that particular thing which we are consuming, and even though the nutrients and the minerals and or all of these components of the food, it is very important that all of the component of the food should be reaching to every part of our body. So how they are the like how it will be possible to reach all of the part of the body? So it is just because the water is there. So due with the help of the water, all of the nutrients and all of the other components of the food, you can say that they all are reaching to the all of the part of our body, and that is why we are able to work with our hands, with our legs, with our, you can say that right now if I'm speaking to you, if I'm teaching you, so what happened now, like at this time my energy is also using up. It's not like that if we are taking 100 kg of weight, or if we are doing very heavy work, then only the energy is going to be consumed. Right now if you are listening my video, or if you are watching my video, so at that time your energy is also getting confused, consumed, sorry, not confused. How? Because you are listening me, you are using your brain at that time. So that's a student, the nutrients which we are consuming, it is very important so that they reach every part of our body, so that our body can convert it into the energy, and that's how we will be able to do our work. So that's a student, this water is very important, because we know this thing that water is we know this thing that the water, what's the property of water is, main property of water, that water is fluid in nature. Exactly, that water is fluid in nature, and that is why due to that fluidity, it will be easier for the water to transport each and every nutrient from one part to the another part of the body. So now you can see that so many functions has been written here, that the brain consists of 90% of water, regulates body temperature, exactly like as I have told you in the case of the summer and winter season. So that is how water is very important. And even those students, like if you have seen that it is advised to drink, that okay, we should drink 7 to 8 glasses of water in a day, or 10 to 12 glasses of water in a day. Why? Because that water is very helpful, because water help us to remove the, you can say, the liquid wastage of our body. So that's how the water is very important. Now you can see blood consists of 83% water. Detoxifies, that means it helps in the removing of the toxic substances from our body. That is why water is again important. Bone consists of 20% of water. Protects and moisturizers our joints. Even though like what happened that at one time, what the thing is that my elder brother, he asked me that how much water you consume in a day. So I was like, yeah, it's like 5 to 6 glasses. So he was like, "Oh, seriously, only 5 to 6 glasses?" So he advised me that no, you should drink proper amount of water, because what will happen that due to the consumption of the water time to time, what will happen that the liquid waste which is present in your body, it is going to be remove out from your body. Exactly. And if that waste is going to be removed out your body, your body will get hydrated, your body will remain hydrated, and due to that, there you can say that the moisture is there, and your skin will glow. So that's the point he told me. But actually I've never done that, because it's a winter season. So in winter season, what happened that consumption of water is somewhat less. So that's why. But yes, it helps the protection and the moisturization of our joints, and as well as I can say for the skin also. Okay. because sometimes if you observe that whenever we feel thirsty, so our you can say that our lips or even to the mouth, it was getting dry because we are not having water. That is why we need to consume water regularly so that we can keep ourselves hydrated. Now you can see here, transport nutrients and oxygen into the cell. Exactly, student, that the oxygen is also very important. If the supply of the oxygen to the every part of the body is not proper, so you will see that you will getting like you will getting some problems. That is why, student, water is helping us for the transportation of the nutrients and the oxygen to the cells. You, as I have told you already, that what are the cells, that the whole human body is made up of the cells only. That is why the transportation of the nutrients and the oxygen to each and every part of the body is very important. Why? Because that nutrients is used up in the form of the energy, and if your body part is not getting the proper amount of the nutrients, so how it will going to have that particular amount of energy? You are getting my point now. So that's why it is very important that we should consume proper amount of water so that the transportation will be proper of the nutrients and as well as for the oxygen. Moisturizes the air in our lungs, helps with our metabolism, protects our organs, helps our organs to absorb nutrients better, exactly for the absorption as well. Muscles consist of 75% of water. So now you can see that our whole body contains so much content of water. Exactly. That is why, student, water is very important for our body. It's not only because that we need to consume water, but it is because water plays so many important role in our body. So these all are the function played by the water. Fine. Okay, so we have discussed about the dietary fibers, we have discussed about the water importance. Now there is a topic of the balanced diet. So what's the balanced diet is? So, students, if I ask you one thing, like in the last session, we have discussed about some of the component of the food, and in that we have seen that we are having three types of the food. If you remember, I'm saying this thing, that some of the food are the energy supplier food, and we are having some bodybuilding food as well. And what else we are having? If you remember, we are having three types of food, if you remember. And one is the protective food, like the food which protect us from different diseases. So what are those? So the energy suppliers are carbohydrates and fats. Bodybuilding, that is the proteins, because these are the building blocks of our body. Exactly. Protective foods like vitamins and minerals. See, student, all of these components of the food are very important for our body. As we have seen that some of them are supplying the energy to our body, some of them are helpful for making our body strong, some of them are important so that we can protect ourselves from any kind of disease. And if, as I have already told you, that if there is a deficiency of the vitamin or any of the particular mineral, so you will face some kind of deficiency, like there will be the deficiency, and due to that deficiency, definitely you are going to face some kind of disease. That is why, student, it is very important that you should have a proper amount of each and every component of the food in your diet. And when you are having the proper amount of each and every component of the food in your diet, that diet is called as the balanced diet. Fine. And the important thing which you should add to your balanced diet is water. Water is also there. Okay, so as you can see in the picture also, that the fruits and vegetables, so all of these things should be present in their proper amount. It's not like that it should be less or it should be more. No, it should be, if you are consuming your food according to the proper amount of each and every component of food, so that means you are taking a proper diet, and that proper diet we called as the balanced diet. So a diet consisting of a variety of different types of food, providing adequate amount of the nutrients so that our body can be maintained and our health can be good. Exactly. For example, if you are facing any problem, like if any disease, so what will happen? If you are consuming proper diet, that means you are taking proper amount of vitamins as well as the minerals. So that means what will happen with that? That if you are consuming the proper amount of that, If if you are consuming the proper amount of the vitamins and minerals, so what will happen? You will be able to fight with those diseases. Exactly. And that particular diet is called as the balanced diet. Fine, students? Okay. So we have discussed about the balanced diet also, and I should say that each and every one should take balanced diet so that our body will be fit and fine, our health will be good. So it is very important to take the proper amount of each and every type of component or each and every type of the nutrient in our diet. Fine. Okay, so what's the cooking of food? You say, ma'am, cooking of food. See, students, what happened that the raw vegetables, exactly, we get raw vegetables, but we can't consume them directly. Or will you be able? Yes, yes, there are some vegetables which can consume that directly, like tomatoes. I like raw tomatoes very much. So there are some kind of vegetables which we can consume directly. But students, it's not like that, that each and every type of vegetable can be consumed directly. That is why it is important to cook the food. Why? Because the raw vegetables, it can cause stomach pain, it can cause some kind of disease. So that's why, or the indigestion problem is there. That is why proper cooking of food is very important. As we have seen that first of all we just wash them, then we cook them, and then it requires 10 to 15 minutes so that all of these raw vegetables is properly cooked. And that is important for the proper digestion process, because when the vegetables are properly cooked, so they get digested very well. Okay, so that is why cooking of food is an important thing. Now, obesity. So now it is an important topic, student, that what is the obesity? Yes, generally people say that the obesity is the fat or overweight, that when a person is having more amount of fat in their body, so we call them as the fatty person, or that we say that the obesity. But today we are going to see obesity with the different point of view. Okay, so now we are going to watch one video and we'll see that. Okay.
Is obesity. Obesity is a medical condition involving an abnormal or excessive fat accumulation that presents a negative effect on health. Obesity is defined as having a body mass index, or BMI, of 30 kilograms per square meter or more. The range 25 to 30 kilograms per square meter is defined as overweight. A body mass index is a measurement obtained by dividing a person's weight by the square of the person's height. Obesity is further evaluated.
So yes, students, as we are talking about the obesity, so what happened that yes, by looking at the person, that okay, it is like the person is looking fatty or chubby, so we say that yes, that person is having obesity. But students, obesity is not exactly that. How we measure the obesity? It depends upon the BMI. Now you will say, ma'am, what's the BMI is? So BMI is stands for the body mass index. Body mass index. And what's that body mass index, students? This BMI is calculated by the weight of the person, and it is divided by the square of its height. So that is why, student, this is called as the BMI. And it is very, like, you can obviously, it will be variable for each and every person, because every person is having different height, every person is having different weight. It's like that, yes, some of the people are having group, but if we go some place and if we start checking out the BMI of each and every person, so you will find out that every person is having some different weight and different height, due to which we are getting the different BMI. So that's our, student, on the basis of the BMI, we check it out that whether the person is having the proper weight, or it is overweight, or it is underweight. Exactly. So as we have seen in this video, that if the BMI of a person coming out to be 30, around 30 or more than that, then we consider that yes, that person is having some kind of obesity. See, now you'll say, ma'am, how you are saying this thing. For example, if any person is having the weight of 50 kg and his height or her height is 150 centimeter. So when you calculate it, and if the BMI, I'm just giving an example, and if the BMI is coming around 25 or 26, that means that person is not obese. But if but the BMI of that person is coming out to more than 30 or 30s, that means that person is facing obesity problem. So that's how student we see the obesity, and it's not like that just looking at the person we can say that yes, he is obese or something like that. Obesity, like I have already told you, that yes, obesity we are going to see with the point of view, with the different point of view, and that different point of view is the BMI, that is body mass index. Okay, and even though with the waist also, like with the measurement of the waist, so we like that measurement is also help us for determining whether the person is having obesity or not. Okay.
In terms of fat distribution around the waist, or waist circumference. Men with a waist measurement of 94 centimeters or more, and women with a waist measurement of 80 centimeters or more, are more likely to develop obesity-related health problems. Obesity is a chronic medical condition that increases your risk of diseases and health problems.
See, what happens, student, that when the fat starts accumulating in our body, and that fat results into the obesity, and it starts having the negative impact over our body. That means when that we start facing the problem, or we are having some kind of disease, then that particular fat or then particular thing is called as the obesity, which is not good for our health. So you can see that these all are the problems which is faced by a person if he's facing the problem of the obesity. That cancer, cardiovascular disease, that means the diseases related to the heart, infertility, and you can see that these are the so many problems which can be faced by a person if he or she is suffering from the obesity. Okay.
Particularly certain types of cancer, cardiovascular diseases, type 2 non-alcoholic fatty liver, and obstructive sleep apnea. Obesity can also affect your quality of life and lead to psychological problems, such as depression, low self-esteem, shame, guilt, and social isolation. Obesity is more common in women than in men. Obesity is a leading preventable cause of death worldwide, with increasing rate in children and adults. In 2015, the estimate shows that 600 million adults and 100 million children were obese in 195 countries. Causes. Obesity is caused by eating more calories than you burn through exercise and normal daily activities.
See, students, okay, now as we have seen in this video that they are giving that because of the obesity, people start facing some of their health issues, not only health issues, but also the psychological diseases, that people undergoes depression or they start feeling very low. So what happened? Because now when obesity is there, so what will happen that the people are not having that amount of energy so that they will be able to do each and every work. So what happened that now we are going to that what could be the causes of that. So what happened, as I've told you, that we are that when we consume fat, so we are having two type of fat. One is the good fat and one is the bad fat. So what happens, student, when we are consuming so much of calories day by day, and what happen if we are not consuming those calories in the form of the energy, and we are just sitting and we are not doing anything, and it's just that we are consuming more and more calories. So what happens, student, that calorie is going to be accumulate in our body in the form of the fat, and due to which people start getting fat, and that's how it results into the obesity, and that's why people will become overweight and they start feeling different problem. So what happens, student, that generally when people are having like they feel starting that okay they are having overweight, so that's why people generally go to the gyms and they start taking diet, that proper diet or balanced diet or some kind of different diet, so that they can lose such fat, that the extra fat which has been accumulated inside, so that their body will get again can be get into that form which they are having. Exactly. So that's a student that generally the cause of the obesity is you can say because of the more consumption of the calories. But students, what happened, it's not like that for every time it is because of the more consumption of the calories. There are some other causes also, like for example there is the thyroid problem. Some people are having thyroid problem, and in that case what happened, either the person is like going to be very low in their weight, or either they are going to be like their weight is going to be increased at a large scale. So that's a student, it can also be because of the hormonal imbalance, and that is why it is recommended to take a proper diet so that each and everything get balanced inside your body. So this, you can say that not only the consumption of the calories is resulting into the obesity. Somehow some people are like, some people are there that who doesn't consume that much calorie, and they also do so much of exercise, so much of work in their daily routine, but still they are having some fat. It is because of, you can say, because of some hormonal imbalance. Maybe they are having some thyroid problems, so due to that also student obesity is there. Okay. But if you are feeling that yes, I'm consuming so much of calories and I'm not doing any physical work, so it will be good for you that okay, you should consume more and more energy, like you can consume whatever you want to eat. But it's just that if you're feeling that because of that it can be result into the obesity, so start doing some physical activities. Like dancing is also a good thing, if I say. And you can see that you can see, use stairs so that your physical activity will be there. So or you can walk, like walking is a good thing, like walking is one of the best exercise I can say. So that's a student, if you started feeling that you are facing some problems with the obesity, or now you or you are saying, and there is a thought in your mind that yes, I'm consuming so much of calories, because of that there will be the problem of obesity. So you can start doing the physical exercise, or it should be, you what you can do is that you can start using the or consuming the balanced diet. Fine.
As a result, your body stores these excess calories as fat. Common specific causes of obesity include inactivity, having a sedentary.
See, like you are eating so much of, you see what happened, like in the last session we have discussed about the calorific value, that some of the foods are having so large amount, high amount of calorific value, that for example cheese is one of that which is having a large content of fat. So what happened when you eat cheese on a very regular base, so what happened, it start accumulating inside your body. So that's why students, some of the causes, like some of these things which you are following in on a regular basis, it results into the obesity. Fine. So that's how we have seen that the obesity is a kind of the disease. We can say that if the person is having the BMI and we calculate it over the BMI, which is called as the body mass index, which is called as body mass index, as we have seen, and then we have seen the causes, and also that what could be the symptoms the people are facing, or what could be the diseases can be faced by the people. So that is called as the obesity. So student, as we have discussed about the dietary fibers, balanced diet, and then we have discussed about the obesity. So you can get rid of the obesity if you are following your balanced diet, because if the balanced diet is there, so definitely you are not getting any type of fat. But as I've told you that it's not only because of the consumption of the calories, it's sometimes it's because of the some hormonal imbalance, or because of the thyroid problem, like some different reasons could also be there. Okay. Now, deficiency diseases. So what are the deficiency diseases? As students, in the last session we have already seen that the vitamins which are important for our body, so that they protect our body from any kind of disease, increases our immunity. So what happens, student, whenever the any particular vitamin, or you can say that the level of that vitamin is low or is not that proper in our body, so due to the deficiency of that particular vitamin or a mineral, we can have some deficiency, we can have some disease, and that's why those diseases are called as the deficiency diseases. So we can say the diseases which is caused because of the deficiency of any particular vitamin or the mineral, or we can say that when they are not present in the proper amount in our body, so these disease, you can find out such diseases. As we can see here, vitamin A, if there is a deficiency of the vitamin A, so you will start facing the problem of the vision, like your vision will not be clear in the case of the night, or you can say that the night blindness is one of that. Vitamin B, berry, Weak muscles or very little energy to work. Vitamin C, scurvy. That means you will start bleeding gums. That means in your teeth you will face the problem of the gums, or maybe pain will be there. Your wounds will take a long time to get healed. Vitamin D, rickets. Bones become soft and bent. Calcium, as we know, the most amount of the calcium present in milk. That is why we are advised to drink milk on the regular basis, because if there is the deficiency of the calcium, so there will be the problem with the bone and the teeth decay. So weak bones and the tooth decay. Iodine, goiter. And in the goiter, what happened, your neck will get swollen up like this kind of thing, so that the glands in the neck appear swollen, and you will face mental disability in the children's. Iron anemia, that means weakness will be there. As we know that the iron is strong, like iron is used for the strong thing. So that is why to make our body strong or make our body energetic, iron is important. And if we are not having proper amount of the iron, it will cause the weakness. So that's how these are some deficiency diseases which is caused whenever we are having not like whenever we are not having proper amount of any vitamin or the mineral in our body. That is why student, it is obviously, you can say, our correct thing to take a balanced diet. So in that balanced diet we are taking the proper amount of each and everything. But I can say that it some like not sometimes, but it not be possible to take each and everything in a proper what I can say, proper range or proper amount. But if it is possible, so definitely you should take. But you can do it. It's not like that it is impossible. But yes, definitely you can do it, and you can get rid of all of these deficiency diseases, or you can keep yourself fit and fine. So that is why this chapter is important for us, because from this chapter we come to know that energy suppliers of our body, protective part of our body, and like not exactly protective part, but the things or the components of the food which helps the protection of our body. Then the bodybuilding, the strongness, that strongness from where we are getting proteins. So that's why this chapter is important for us. And with the deficiency of the diseases, we have completed this chapter. Okay, now it's your duty that you have to watch this video with a great attention. And if you face any problem, any question or any query is there, what you can do is you can post your question over the public or the private forum of the Ask IITians, and that's how you can get your answer. And what else I can say, just read this chapter very carefully, as it is very important. The whole thing is related to your body only, so that you can keep yourself good, fit and fine, and healthy as well. So now we are having some questions as well. Okay, so now what's the question is, what is roughage and why its presence in our food is important? As we have seen already that the rough fibrous content of food is called as roughage, and the sources are green vegetables like spinach, cabbage, ladyfinger, beans, and you can say that these contains the good amount of roughage. And role, it helps in the movement of the bowel and prevents constipation. Okay, as we have seen that it helps in the removing of the undigested part. And as I told you that if the undigested part is not removing from your body, so it can cause many problems. So constipation is one of that thing, and roughage helps in the removing of the undigested part from our body, so it could prevent the constipation. Fine. Name the main constituent of the roughage. So cellulose, as I have told you that from the consumption of the roughage, it stores in the form of the bulk. Either we don't get any nutrient from it, but it stores in the form of the bulk, and that bulk we call as the cellulose. And this cellulose is helpful in the movement of the muscles of rectum. You can say helpful in the muscles movement of rectum. Which among following provide maximum roughage to the diet if taken in equal amount? Egg, cucumber, grapes or cabbage? So as we have seen that, okay, we are taking equal amount of each of one thing, but which will give the more amount of the roughage? So we have seen that the roughage is what? They are the kind of the fibers or the leafy vegetables. So if I see egg is useful for the protein, because like it contains good amount of protein. Cucumber we can consume for water, like it contains good amount of water. Grapes, and they are not the leafy vegetables, so we are left with cabbage. So the cabbage can be the answer. So let's check it out. So yes, cabbage is the correct answer because it contains the good amount of roughage. Fine, students. So we are having any other question? No. So now we are not having any question. That means we have done with each and everything in this chapter. And as I've already told you that you can post your question. So that's how you can get your answer as well. So now, student, it's just that what I want to say to you is thank you so much for watching this video and keep learning from Ask IITians. Thank you.